Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you can't help but bop.
Oh,
I bet everyone in the chat was bopping.
Everyone's dancing. Yes.
Everyone is. And did you notice I did it right and everything? I did the whole transition right and everything. I'm getting better at this crack, I tell you.
Seemed like a bit of a pause, but I don't know. Maybe it was me.
Oh, I'm sorry if I pause for like 30 seconds, Rob. I am trying. I am trying. Anybody who think I'm a professional? Well, what's going to change there? Hello, everybody, and you're all very welcome.
Procrastinate.
Hello, Rob.
Yes, hello, Steve. High five.
It disappears. I can't. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Maybe if I move over here and then go. There you go.
No, because it.
Ready, go.
Your hand's bigger than mine. Hang on.
Well, it's not the only thing that's bigger. Just saying.
Oh, your head, your ego.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Those are big.
There you go. Pretty much everything. Well, we've got a few people in the chat. I'll do a quick hello to folks.
Do that.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Rob and Steve. Hello, Leona Faye. Hello. I hope you're feeling better, Leona. Leona's been a bit under the weather today, apparently. Rubber Dub. Hello, Robert Dolman. Wood Dude, Stephen. Wayne the Bigfoot and Valerie. The Flaming Turner, Nick. Hi, and Stace in the background. Did you see my voice is breaking? I'm going through puberty. Jeff Christie and Jeff Christie. There you go.
Well, hello to everybody.
Yes.
He's here twice.
And and Mike, you just popped up as well. You're all very welcome to. I believe this is episode 4, Rob, already.
Is it 4?
4.
God,
that's like 4 weeks.
Are we still doing this? Or it's a month?
So. Well, I've not had any emails from people saying that show sucks. Can you stop doing it, please? So until I get that,
everybody send Steve emails. He's expecting them now.
They loves me. Hi, Debbie. Debbie just joined Rob. Say hi, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie. Where's Debbie?
Debbie Beardall. She hasn't got a beard though. She's just.
She won't be here long. Beardall. She's here for a bit.
She's not there. She's here
for a bit. She won't be long. Lady. No.
So we haven't really got a particular topic this week, as we generally don't. I suppose really we should start thinking of a topic theme for each show, maybe. But it's a show that's evolving. We're trying new things. We're doing stuff. It will evolve. We're trying to decide still what kind of show we want, aren't we? If we're honest, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? What is this anyway? I don't know. It's mostly about woodworking, but there's a little bit more than that. It kind of expands on that a little bit. Hi, Rob and Steve. Debbie. Cheered you up already?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
She's had her bit. She's probably leaving now.
Yeah, we cheered her up already just for being here, because that's the kind of people we are.
It was good of you to come. Where's she from? Let's talk about Debbie.
Debbie's in the UK. She's lovely.
Is she in
I've
the
met
UK?
Debbie. Debbie's lovely.
Have you met Debbie? I've not met Debbie.
I've got.
There's not many people that I have met actually. I've met you, Steve.
Yeah, once or twice.
Couple of times.
Right. So show. We digress. The show. It's got things, obviously, right? It has all these fascinating facts and it has news and all that, and Robbie's bit. The reason why it's got that is because it's the fun side of making, and it's friendship as well. I think this show emanates friendship, not just with myself and Rob, but the people in the chat as well. We have the same people come back every week. They're all part of the general fam. And hopefully that will grow. If not, then we'll do the show for those few people every week. And don't care. We've got 20 there apparently, so there's 20 people watching. You're all welcome. The ones in the background. Yeah. So, like I say, what we would like is maybe some feedback from you. Do you want me to set up a Rob and Steve Facebook page where you can get in touch with us and give us input and give us news and tell us stuff that you want put on the show? If you've got products and things that you want to promote.
Well, I think that's a good idea, Steve.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Because you could even post things about the previous show each week.
Right, exactly.
So you can pick it to pieces and kind of
exactly
put it on the Facebook page, and then people can skim back through some stuff.
Okay, so I'll make a Rob and Steve Facebook page, and then Rob can maintain it. That's brilliant. Thanks for offering to do that, Rob. That's brilliant.
No, this is your bag. This is technology. Technology is your thing, Steve.
Yes. So right.
It's
okay,
prior.
I'll do that.
Anything after 93. Anything after 93, done.
Mike the Midnight
if it comes to music,
just joined. So hi, and Richard Phelan's just joined as well. So hello, guys. Yes. So like I say, it's your show as much as our show. If there's stuff that you would like us to cover, if you would like us to cover more wood turning and woodworking, then we will, and we'll back off of the other stuff. That's not a problem. If you want it to be more of a woodworking, wood turning show, we'll do that. Or we can keep the fun and the woodworking and kind of make it amalgamated. We have got our first interview coming next week, haven't we, Rob?
Yes. You want me to talk a little bit about that? Yes.
Yeah, do. Yeah.
Okay, so
kicked off.
Yeah, well, safely, because I had a mask on and everything. I went over to a fellow woodturner's house this week, and we sat at a table 6 feet apart, and I interviewed her. We're talking about Ruby Claire. Ruby Claire is a professional woodturner with, she started, I'm not going to tell you too much about her. She's a professional woodturner. That's all I'm going to tell you. So information that comes from her is worth listening to. It's worth soaking that information in and trying to adapt your style of wood turning to what she's explaining to you. And I'll try and get more information from her because she knows what she's talking about. She really does. So
cool. Yeah.
That I've got all that in the computer, and I'm in the process of editing it, and I'm trying to make it a little bit, I don't know, I'm trying to edit in some stuff there to kind of bring forward what she's talking about. So there you go.
Oh, he's a Cardo rubber dub.
Rubber dub. Tips for Steve.
Hi Yeti, how are you? So that will be coming next week. That's how we're going to do the interviews. We're not going to have people on live. We are going to interview them via video, because the reason why that works better is because I might be interviewing people in the UK or in Australia or in the States. Rob might be doing the same. And with time differences and stuff like that, it's just a lot easier to make the video as an interview, the interview as a video, and then show you it, and then we discuss it afterwards and do it that way. Because that way we're not encroaching on the person's life too much. We're not pulling them out of their day-to-day routine. And not only that, it can be edited and it can be a bit crisper and flow nicer than just kind of jumping backwards and forwards. Oh, I got the hiccupities. So yeah, so Ruby's interview will be next week. Thanks for doing that, Rob. And I'm looking forward to that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that I was thinking about is how long do we want the interview section? Because the interview video footage is about 45 minutes. I'm going to edit it down shorter. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be 30 minutes ish. But I think it's worth watching. I really do. So if you want to just press play and have like a section of the screen with her doing her thing, answering questions and such, and we could maybe be in the background and not talking over her.
Well, the good thing about that as well is that later on, what I can do is I can put a timestamp in the description. So if people want to watch the interview later on, watch the rest of the show and then watch the interview at another time, or keep watching it back and getting tips and things from Ruby and information from Ruby, they can just click that timestamp and it will go directly to the interview. Just run the interview and then they can skip off the rest of it. So that's what we'll do.
I think eventually too, the entire video will be released on my channel as well afterwards, so that it's just a separate interview you can watch.
There's a message for you there, Rob.
Bernie in Essex came to your house the other day. I'm Yeti on Google. Yes, I see you're a bit of a Yeti fan. I'd love to know a little bit more about that. You know who else is a Yeti fan?
No.
James Barry. James Barry.
Oh, okay.
Look up. He actually went on a
Oh,
hunt
yeah, he
for
is. That's right.
Bigfoot or Yeti. I'm not sure what the difference is. Sasquatch, whatever. I don't know. But Bernie, if you haven't checked out James Barry, he's the sharpening guy. He does a lot of sharpening. He's an eccentric dude. He's really cool. And he's
Lucky
into the
just to be
Yeti.
alive. Was very sick last
he
year.
had some health problems. Yeah.
I've met him a few times. I like James. He's a nice guy, and I've actually sat and listened to him talking about the Yeti over a few pints and stuff, and his adventures and stuff. He's a really nice guy, actually, and very successful businessman, and knows his shit about sharpening. I can tell you, he's the guy that makes the Trend credit cards, diamond credit cards, and the lap fluid, and lots of other products as well.
So this is the card that Steve's talking about. It's 300 and 600, this particular one. And I use it all the time now on my skew, especially. I'm not the best at hand sharpening any of my tools, but the skew is the one tool that I do get a great edge with this. Most of my tools, I use the Wolverine system with the CBN wheel on my 8-inch grinder with the 1-inch wide wheel. But the skew, definitely. And the beading parting tool. What else do I? Also the ring tool. So there are a few tools you can use this for. Even carbides, if you're into carbides.
So you touch up your ring with that, do you, Rob?
Yeah. What ring?
Right.
I don't wear any rings.
What was I going to say? I've got a question about the wheel. You know your wheel, the CBN. Yeah. Do you have to use? It's probably a stupid question, but I know nothing about those diamond wheels. Do you have to use a lapping fluid with those? I'm going to say no. No. The same as you do with the cards. No. Okay.
You do not, because it would throw it in your face, wouldn't it?
Well, it's it's like a wet wheel. Water gets thrown in your face, so I didn't know.
But no, I've had the CBN wheel there. I'm guessing at least a year. And it's fantastic. It maintains the same position. It doesn't get smaller like an aluminum oxide wheel does. Get smaller. Aluminium oxide. Sorry, Brits. Aluminum.
Hey, Rob.
There's a topic of conversation.
Are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Rob. Are you partial Australian? Benjamin wants to know. Benjamin.
It's funny you say that. It's a Canadian-British mix. It sounds a little bit Australian.
It's a Canadian boggers accent. Same as I've got an Irish boggers accent. It's half English, half Irish, weird kind of concoction. Right, should we carry on? Let's do this, Rob.
I come from the land down under. What?
Let's do this. I'm gonna flip over here like this, and then we're gonna do this. Oh, no, that's not supposed to do that.
I don't know what you're doing.
We're going to do the random wheel of convo. I'm in discussions with Double D at the moment, Daniel. He's going to do voiceovers for us for all of that. He's going to do the whole random wheel of convo and all that kind of stuff. But I've got to get back to him. I didn't get a chance to do it this week. So he's going to do voiceovers for me for that. So we're going to make it all professional.
Sound bites.
Yeah. So let's get the wheel back up now that I've faffed that up. And let's spin it, shall we? once it's actually, once it's
my
there. My wheel's just not working, folks.
While we're waiting for Steve.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
we don't
folks.
have to wait. Go for it.
Slight testicle issue there. Right, let's spin it.
Thought you were good at this.
I'm removing things each week, by the way. I'm not leaving them up there, so we're repeating topics, and then when we've gone through them all, I'll fill it back up again. So the way this random wheel of convo works is it will stop on a topic, and we, myself and Rob, will talk about it, and then we ask. It's food, Rob's favorite thing.
Food.
Yeah, and then we discuss.
Okay, I've already got one thought in mind.
Well, then you start. Food, Rob.
Me grandma's meat pie with suet crust.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Does that sound good? With gravy and mashed potato and mushy peas. Ooh.
That sounds.
My wife won't.
Sorry, go on. Carry on.
I was going to say my wife won't make suet crust. She won't do it.
Oh, why is that? Just doesn't know how to, or just refuses?
No, she doesn't want to. She doesn't like it. She says it's fat, right? Because it's got suet fat, but it tastes good.
Yeah,
but a lot of things do have fat in them. So
my granny's Yorkshire puddings. To die for.
Oh, love Yorkshires.
And my granny's trifle. Oh. Yeah, Yorkshire puddings and trifle. Actually,
I never liked trifle.
Did you not? Well, there wasn't enough booze in it. Obviously, my granny used to put a whole bottle in.
It was the bread. You're eating jelly, and then there's bread. How does jelly and bread go together? I don't get it.
Not all trifles had bread, and it depends on whether that bread was soaked in pure alcohol or not, too. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Myself as a child was permanently stoned on all sorts of alcohol that my granny used to put into her food. I was drunk every time I went round to granny's house. The thing I wanted to discuss was food. You've got a lot of foods that you don't get over there anymore that you miss a lot from the UK, right?
Not so much anymore. When I first moved to Canada, there's a lot of things that are different, like the flour is different. So to bake things is different. The candy sweets is totally different. Bread pudding's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I love bread pudding.
Cadbury's in Canada and America is not the same Cadbury's. It tastes more like, I don't know, it's a sweeter, not a creamy like it is in England. So the chocolate was always different. But other than that, no, we can pretty much get most things now.
Hi, Brian, by the way. How are you doing? Stew and dumplings, the best comfort food ever, especially with Henderson's relish. I agree with the
relish.
Yeah, I agree with the stew and dumplings. Love stew and dumplings. Absolutely love stew and dumplings. Good stew that's been cooked slowly throughout the day.
Beef.
Where the meat, where the meat just falls apart, and and all the
juices,
flavors and juices are all through the vegetables and everything. Yeah, lovely. Relish. I've never been a man for relish. Whatever it is about relish, I've never.
No.
Yeah.
Me neither. Or pickle. What's that? Branston pickle.
Oh, love that.
I must say,
I love Branston pickle, especially on a good lump of cheese. I love that.
No, I'm not a fan of it. Rice pudding.
Homemade rice pudding. Yeah,
with a blob of jam.
Yeah, do you remember the school dinners? That I was actually speaking to Rob about school and yesterday about my lack of memory with school, but the school dinners. Yeah. It wasn't actually rice pudding. It was semolina.
Semolina, yeah.
It was semolina and jam. I'm not sure whether semolina is rice pudding. But
it's something similar.
Yeah, it was. It was nice.
Tonight I'm having turkey and chicken with mashed potatoes and veg. And I might have to make Yorkshire puddings now if I get time after the show. I might have to do that.
They're good. Prime ribs are nice. They are nice. Let me see what else we got here. Hope the pudding doesn't have Yorkshire grit in it. No, it doesn't. No. Chocolate gatto. Oh, you can't beat a good chocolate gatto. Oh yeah. Foods. Food.
English pancakes.
Yeah. Well,
with lemon and sugar. Love them.
Do you know what I really do like, but I don't cook it anymore, and I should really cook it more often because I do like it's French toast. Eggy.
Oh, I do that
eggy
occasionally.
French toast. Yeah, with spices on it. It's lovely.
Eggy bread. I had it savoury, not sweet. Some people have it sweet.
Right.
So I put brown sauce on mine. HP.
What weird food combinations do you like? That maybe shouldn't go together, yeah.
I don't know.
That's much better, Rob.
I don't know.
That's
it's a bit lovely. Straighter. Makes me look much better. I don't know.
Do you know what I like? I like cheese and those sour worm sweets. So you know them spicy sour worms that you get that are sweets with sugary sour on them? Those with cheese is lovely. Same as pineapple and cheese is lovely too.
I don't think I really have any weird food fetishes.
Do you have pineapple on pizza?
No. No.
You're one of those, are you?
I am definitely one of those. I used to have tuna on pizza. You know, you can't get it over here. The Seafarer that we had at Pizza Hut in England back in the 80s, 90s.
McDonald's,
that was good.
Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut. That's it. We're going to get a copyright strike now. What's Brian said? That reminds me, I have chocolate Swiss roll and vanilla ice cream in the fridge. Yeah, I make a nice Swiss roll.
Connor makes those. I don't even know what they are. Meringues. They're meringues.
Oh yeah.
The white meringues, and they're soft in the middle a little bit. Oh, they're good.
The egg
with ice cream. Yeah,
they're nice.
Ice cream's good.
Yeah.
Christmas cake. I make Christmas cake. Not Christmas cake. Christmas pudding. Oxtail soup and mulligatawny. Do you remember mulligatawny soup?
Tracy thinks I'm pregnant.
Both of those.
Because of all the food I'm craving. No, I'm just a starved husband, Tracy. Not. That's what it is. I'm just a poor starved husband. Yeah.
Are we gonna talk about your visitor?
I
think we've talked about food enough, making me hungry.
Right. Okay.
I haven't had dinner yet because it's only 5 to 5 here.
What visit is that, Rob?
The visitor you had. You told me about a little lad yesterday.
Oh, the spooky spooks. I wasn't going to talk about it, no, because people will definitely think I'm going insane. All right, we'll talk about that very quickly before we get on to Wood of the Week. Has anybody ever seen a ghost? Just put it out there. Does anybody believe in ghosts? Has anybody seen ghosts? Or do you think it's a load of pants? Because actually, Rob's got a cool video. Rob's got a video, I think it's actually on the YouTube somewhere, of a cup making its own way across the desk in his workshop, where he goes to grab it.
It was very weird.
And it goes.
It goes out. I go to grab it and it moves away from me. It was when I was making some pens. I was casting something. One of my videos. You have to watch them all, front to back, to find it.
There you go. It's okay. You're not crazy if someone else sees it too. Thanks, Leona. That's it. It makes me feel a lot better.
Well, you said Linda saw it.
Yeah. So sitting on the couch in my lounge, our house it's not an old house. It's only about 15, 20 years old. It's built on famine land that would have been famine ground back in the 1800s. But the area that we live in is coastal, but there is also a lost village. So this is just a little bit of back history. There's a lost village. It's not lost anymore. There's people know where it is, but it's like a lot of old buildings and properties that are just old 1800s buildings that are just stone and rubbish and rubble now. But it was basically
the house.
Yeah, basically what happened is this area went from something like, I think it was 1,500 people to nothing. This parish died in the famine. That's how bad it was. So there's supposed to be history of ghostly children and people around the area. But myself and Linda were on the couch watching TV, and I was wearing my glasses, and I just got this little reflection in my glasses, someone behind me, and Robbie's kind of been up and down late because of lockdown and we can't get him settled. So I thought it was Robbie had come up to ask for a drink or for a cuddle or whatever. So I actually turned round and I was going to say, Robbie, come on, go to bed. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? And as I turned round, there was a child right there standing looking at me. And I went, whoa, what's that? And Linda turned round. She also saw something, but wasn't sure what she saw. And then, poof, gone. Wasn't Robbie. My heart sank then because I thought, if I'm seeing children that aren't mine, then is there something wrong with one of my children? So I ran down the hall and I checked Robbie. He was sound asleep in his bed. Went to Chloe's room. She was awake or just woke up because I'd gone in. But now she's got an Alexa. And she had it on the bed listening to music, and there was a cord wrapped all around, which she could have quite easily got choked on, if I'm honest. I told her off, said, put that on the floor. Don't have it in your bed. You'll choke, you silly girl. And I came back down, a bit freaked out, didn't know what it was all about. But yeah. And then, of course, my older kids start researching and said, Dad, it's not good if you see a dead child. It's supposed to be very bad luck or blah, blah, blah. And they started going into all this weird stuff. So I said, don't want to know. I either saw it or I didn't. That's it. But
what you mentioned to Linda, what did you see before you told her, right?
Yeah, and she saw the same, but it wasn't as detailed as I'd seen, because I turned around and got a face full of this child, and I was like, what the? So you obviously you check front doors and back doors, and you think, has a stranger's child walked into your house, or it's just a bit. Hi, Gav, how are you? Yeah, so just a bit weird, if I'm honest. So don't know if it's the old guardian angel or if it's a trapped child somewhere, or our land's been dug up by machines and all sorts recently. So have we disturbed something, or there's probably a freaking grave in my garden now, in my luck. That would be great. I'll find 1,500 dead people in my back garden now, won't I? That's probably what'll happen. I'll find a mass grave.
Maybe.
Knowing Steve's luck, he'll go out to plant a fucking shrub or something in the summer and dig up a skull or something.
You don't plant stuff.
So has anybody seen ghosts? Wayne, hold on. Let's see what Wayne says. I have a ghost in my workshop. I must have, because I can't make that much mess, surely. Sarah, my grandma's ghost was with me while I was giving birth to my first child. My mum saw her grandmother. She woke up in the middle of the night. Her grandmother was sitting at the end of the bed, and she was holding her leg, and she said, go back to sleep, sweetheart. You're going to be all right. Go back to sleep. And when she woke up in the morning, she was told that her grandmother had passed away many hours before she saw her. So, children are supposed to see, I see dead people. So that's that. Well, anyway.
I have witnessed a few things in our old house in Tecumseh when we first moved to Canada. It was weird because the fruit bowl, if you had bananas in there, it would have to be a single banana. We'd have that banana jump out of the basket. It was always just a single banana and no connection to Steve's bananas or whatever.
Was it a
No
forking
connection
banana?
to that at all. I only got that connection yesterday when I mentioned it to you, actually, but it was weird. But if there was a single banana in there, there's a good chance that that banana would jump out of the basket. But not only that, there was one day we were going out, all of us, and I had to go back in the kitchen to grab something. And as I went back into the kitchen, on top of the microwave, there was some metal plates or trays sitting there. And literally, as I come around the corner, those trays jumped up, hit the underside of the cabinets, fell across the floor, and landed halfway across the kitchen floor, which was
poltergeist activity, man. That's serious.
That freaked me out. That freaked me out.
Hi, Eva.
Anyway, moving on, Steve.
Yes, let's move on to this, Rob.
Okay. Word of the week.
Word of the week.
Word of the week. Indeed. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about Brazilian cherry.
Oh, I like a good Brazilian.
Brazilian cherry. You can put wax on Brazilian cherry.
Apparently. It's very
so anyway,
smooth,
that's a crotch feature. That's a crotch feature that you'd put wax on the Brazilian cherry. That's mind blown.
You couldn't plan it, could you?
No, you couldn't plan it. So that it's also known as Jatoba. So if you're witnessing this, you're witnessing a Jatoba. Never mind. Anyway, so it's got this beautiful red brown sort of color, but it is crazy, crazy hard wood. Now, I turned a couple of things with this wood. I made a Lazy Susan for the post office lady in town, and I used Brazilian cherry, and it was super hard. It was difficult to turn. So go to the next photo there, Steve.
Okay, Rob.
So this is showing the colors that you get in it. It does have some movement and chatoyance in it a little bit when you move it. It's from Central America or Southern Mexico. Also Northern South America. That's North, South, East, West. And the Western Indies. The trees are really big. They grow 100 to 130 feet tall, but they're only 2 to 4 feet in diameter. So that's the Brazilian cherry. It's very hard, and it will dull your tools super quick. I know that because I put it through my thickness planer, and it worked hard to get that plane down. It's hard wood. Same as on, if you want to use a bowl gouge on a big piece, good luck. Good luck. I ended up having to use carbide because it was so hard. It was not easy to turn. Move on to that next photo, Steve.
Yeah, turning hardwood sucks.
Well, it depends. It depends. So that's a Brazilian cherry floor, hardwood flooring. That's what it's used for mostly because it's so hard. It lasts a long time, and it's got that beautiful color. So that's wood of the week. Absolutely beautiful Brazilian cherry, and it contrasts great. You can glue it together with maple or whatever. You get that great contrast. So I've made a couple of charcuterie boards and used that as part of the glue up, and it looks nice. So that's
Eva
it, folks. That's wood of the week.
Eva says, I got the idea that brown wood like that is usually harder than white wood. With that said, I know oak is hard, though.
Oak is hard, dry. It's also very open grain, very porous, whereas Brazilian cherry is very tight grain. So generally, tight grain woods are harder.
Leona says, I have a question for Rob, please, after this.
Go on then, Leona. Ask me the question.
Boing.
She's not answered. I'm waiting.
So that wood, Rob.
Hang on. Leona's asking a question.
Here we go. I'll put it up on the...
I've been asked to make risers for a mahogany table. What wood will take a mahogany stain best? and kind of match grain wise. I've been asked to make risers for a mahogany table. Use mahogany. Mahogany.
Use mahogany, Leona.
Use mahogany. Match. It's very difficult to match it perfect. Your best bet would be to have samples of a few different woods and put the stain on and see what you're satisfied with. Because my eyes aren't the best for color. You're talking about color. My eyes are not good for color.
Yeah, I would also suggest that if you are trying to match wood for wood,
I wouldn't think maple.
I would
personally.
I would suggest stripping back the whole top and the legs too, right back to bare wood, because you're also going to be contending with whatever finishes that people have put on in the past, polish and stuff like that.
Richard says sapele, which I agree, but I don't think that's any cheaper.
Yeah, she can't get any. She said she can't get any mahogany.
If she can't get mahogany, I doubt you can get sapele either. Then,
Leona, try some fireplace manufacturers. They deal with a lot of mahogany. The people that make the mantelpieces and fireplaces, they'll use a lot of mahogany.
Don't some doorways use mahogany for
and
door frames and things? Windowsills.
Go down. Do you know what you could do, Leona? Actually, go down to the local church. They often have some really nice mahogany in the churches, in around the sides, on the pews. Some of the seating is mahogany. Just go in there. Priest's not going to accuse you of stealing, is he? Come on, just borrow it.
But maybe if you go to like I'm going to say Salvation Army, but that's not the right place. You know those charity type places. I can't think of what they're called.
Fireplaces. Yeah, they sometimes have fireplaces as well.
Doors, tables, wood. They have different things like that. They might have something that will work.
Leona's not going anywhere near any churches. She's probably like me. She burst into flames. Eva says sapele. Leona, if you're closer, I've got legs of a snooker table. Yeah, that's true. Snooker tables with mahogany too. Snooker and pool tables. Yeah. Awful waste to destroy them though. Right. Well, that's wood of the week then. Very cool. I've never really turned any of that by the sound of it, but it sounds forking hard. Right. Let's go on to this, Rob.
Oh, jigs and tools. What do we have for you this week? Well, last week, what did we have last week? It was the Longsworth truck last week, and we did mention about finishing bottoms of bowls and things using the Longsworth truck. Well, this week it's similar, and again, this is homemade, and I don't use it anymore. But this is a donut chuck. So, as you can see, I made a faceplate because I didn't have a faceplate at the time. So I drilled and tapped out a piece of wood, turned it. I had to have a little bit of space to get it away from the motor. On my old lathe, the motor was right up against this. So you don't want to block off the airflow to the back of the motor. So that's why I made some space there. And then basically used some bolts and some wing nuts. Now those wing nuts, they're coming around. So you got to be very careful to avoid your fingers touching them. But you center the bowl in here. You take all this off, you center the bowl in there. And this is chamfered in here a little bit. You should really put some foam or something just to protect it from scratching the bowl. And then you tighten those clamps down, put it on the lathe, and then that's held. That's not going anywhere now. So it should be self-centering if it's built right in the first place. And then you can just go ahead and remove the tenon or rework the mortise, whatever you're doing to finish your bottom. That's what that's for. So this is something you can make yourself. You can buy a faceplate if you don't want to make one. I still have somewhere. I'm going to show you right here. is a tap. So this tap, I picked it up somewhere, I forget where, but it's a 1-inch 8 TPI tap. So I forget the size of the drill bit that it required, but I drilled a hole, tapped it, and then put it on my spindle and then turned it into a faceplate. So it's just a cheaper way of being able to do it. And if the wood breaks out a little bit, pour some super glue in there, let it go off, spray it with accelerator, retap it. Do that a couple of times if you get a little bit of tear out on the wood. I chose maple, hard maple, which worked nicely. The threads are still pretty decent. I don't know if you can see them. Not sure if you can see those threads in there, but it worked out quite nicely. But yes, definitely watch those wing nuts because they'll catch it. If your fingers are anywhere near them, it wouldn't be a good day. Well, okay, yes, the wing nut on the other side, I agree. Now would probably be the ideal time to do that with this lathe. I'm going to swing you around just a little bit. So on my old lathe, the motor was right here, and it was almost in line with the spindle. So anything behind that sticking out was hitting the motor. So that's why I did it this way. On this one, absolutely, the wing nut could be on the other side. So yes, if you have space, the wing nut on the other side is definitely safer. But it's something to think about if you're struggling on fixing the bottoms of your bowls. There's been a few times that I've turned something. Yep.
They're also really good for they're really good for spheres and the likes of stuff like that as well. You can make a smaller version for spheres as well.
Yeah, on a sphere. On a sphere jig, you would want this to be cupped out as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
you could, or you could put that. Do you know that thick memory foam? I've seen people just put that thick memory foam on the back that just takes up any kind of shape, and it works that way too.
Yeah. I never made a video of the build of that. I made that quite a long time ago, but there's lots of videos out there of builds on how to make them. The most important thing is if you're going to make one that it is true to the lathe. If it's doing this while you're spinning, then you need to true it up.
Joseph said he made a triple donut chuck. Each layer was lined with foam pipe insulation. A triple donut chuck. Interesting.
Not sure what that is.
Leona said she made one too. I think she's used it once in 4 years.
Once in 4 years. I think I've used mine a couple of times. That's it. I tend to just use a faceplate. I made a big 18-inch faceplate with foam on it, and then I bring the tailstock up to the center, and I turn the majority of it away down to a little tiny nub, and then I remove the nub with a chisel off the lathe, and that works for me.
I think
it's quicker.
I think with jigs, to be honest with you, you kind of evolve as you move along. I've got jigs and things that I've made, but then I've had the funds to buy the tool that does the job better than the jig, right? So it's as a beginner wood turner or someone that's just trying to get into it and maybe wouldn't have the funds, it's a lot easier to make these jigs and things, make them, use them, and then when you're at a point where you can afford to buy maybe proper Longworth chucks or cold jaws or any of them kind of things, then you can go on and you don't need to use these jigs anymore. Or you learn.
But there's more than one way to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's more than one way to do it. We've talked about 3 different methods of removing the foot of a bowl. One being the Longsworth, one being the donut chuck, and then one being a big faceplate with foam on it and the tailstock. That's 3 methods of removing the foot. You could also make a jam chuck that the piece kind of compresses onto and is held on. I've seen people do that, especially with little boxes and things. People do that just push it onto on a spindle. So there's lots of ways.
That's how the Russians and the Japanese do their production bowls with the hook tools, right? So they'll turn the outside of a bowl from a big log. They'll turn the outside of a bowl, then they'll part it off, then they'll hollow out the inside of their next bowl, and they'll push their first bowl into it, rim first, into that bowl, clean off the foot, take it away, then continue, take out that bowl, and just move their way down the log, and they'll get 4 or 5 bowls out of the one log. It's amazing to watch.
They don't even have a chuck; they just hammer it into an opening in the headstock.
Yeah, it's a jam chuck.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of those guys too turning. We're talking, I don't know if they're third world countries. I don't know. I won't say third world country. Let's just say a poor area of China or somewhere, the Middle East. And they're doing this with a really old school lathe with no chuck, just a jam chuck of some sort. And they haven't got safety glasses because they're not available to them.
Right.
And they're kind of just doing this as they're turning. Like crazy. I watched a guy doing it the other day. It's like,
yeah, it was on Facebook. Yeah, I watched the same guy doing it. He's like,
oh, yeah. I guess he's used to it. So when you look at those guys, and then you look at us over here, like in the US, Canada, and England, we're lucky to have the safety gear that's available to us. So,
donut chucks come in handy when you don't have a tailstock. That's true too. Yeah, I mean,
who doesn't have a tailstock?
Well, you say that.
Tailstock?
There's some. The first original lathe that I had, the cheapo one that I bought, it had a tailstock, but it wasn't worth a shite, to be honest with you, because you couldn't put anything. All it had was a fixed revolving center on it, right? You couldn't take it off, you couldn't remove it. It was a threaded bar that you had to undo and wind in and out. So when I did bowls and things with that lathe, I used to just disregard the tailstock altogether, and I had chucks, donut chucks and things like that made. So that's how I got over it. So, you know, when you're a new turner, I suppose, and it depends on what kind of lathe you've got. We haven't all got fancy Lagunas, you know.
Hey, can I say I had to have it? Had to have it. That's okay. Talking of tailstocks a little bit, if we're on that subject, they're not really jigs, although this one is kind of. So, Steve, I'm not sure if we had this when you were here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I use that for the spheres. Yeah, I use that for the spheres.
I need this little bar here.
You had just made that, I believe. You just made that little jig just before I arrived.
Maybe. So this is the one-way live center, and I forget the size of this thread, but you can get the nut that fits it. Now this is a wooden jig that I made, and now it's a spinning piece of wood with a cup on it that you can use in the tailstock for a sphere, and then you can put something in the chuck of your headstock that also has a cup on it, and then you put a little bit of foam in there, and that's going to now hold your sphere, and you can rotate it. So that's just one little extra bonus jig this week. But we're talking about tailstocks again. So that would be like a cup center, I guess, for the tailstock, which is good for side grain. It's something I actually realized recently. If you use this on side grain, it just digs right into it.
Yeah.
If you use a cup center on side grain, then you don't have that problem. It's going to mark it, but it's not going to dig right in. Like this will get deeper and deeper into your side grain.
Yeah, and not only that, it can spiral too, right? It'll tend to want to follow the grain too, so it can pull your bowl or whatever you're using offline too, and cause it to wobble too. Because it can.
It can do, yeah. So a cup center on side grain is better. It's more ideal for that purpose. This is the chuck. Sorry, the lathe center that came with my lathe, which is very similar to the one way actually. It's got the cup center, but it also has a little center point on it.
Yeah.
It's not retractable, but it's just tiny. It's just there to center it perfectly. And then this is obviously the live center that goes with that. So that's those two. But I don't use that very often. But it just occurred to me recently again that you can buy these for the tailstock that are alive. Live.
Yeah, I've got one.
They spin, right?
Yeah.
I don't have one of those. So now I have to have one. So yeah, that would be kind of handy. That could come in handy. When would you use that, Steve?
Your hard rock? That's what you pointed at.
When would you use a live center spur?
I use my live center spur when I'm doing quite a lot of my bigger spindle work, because I can actually knock them into both ends with my rubber mallet. I can actually bang it in and get a good hold in them, and then pop it in and tighten up, and you get a good grip on it. Harder woods, the more harder woods, because if you just use the normal one, they just slip on a hardwood because they can't dig into the grain. So I would use it on a harder wood too. I got it in a set. Right. Do you know what? I tend to be the sort of turn that just grabs the nearest thing, and then I'm too lazy to get something else. Then when it doesn't work, I'm get all annoyed with it and go, oh, why aren't you working? Well, it's because it's the wrong tool, Steve.
Yeah.
But like, will Steve change it? No.
For a long time, I would use a standard spur drive, but now I bought a Steb center.
I got Steb.
Lee Valley. I bought that at Lee Valley. These are awesome. These are friggin' awesome. The center is springed. It's on a spring.
Yeah.
So really, it's just those little tiny teeth around the edge, serrated teeth. They just grab that much better. They're really nice.
I've got the live and drive of those, the Stebs.
Yeah. I might have to look into that. I might even get the other size of these. There was a smaller one. I always go for the middle of the road on everything, but there's a smaller one and a bigger one of these. I think this one's a 3/4 inch around, and they had 1 1/4 and a 1/2 inch. I forget now, but yeah, it's on the list of things now. Steve noticed this the other week because we were talking about something. I forget.
I did. Yeah.
I turned.
So jealous.
No, you don't have to be jealous, Steve. Come over here. You can use it. So the other week I turned a big bowl blank. Yeah, I turned a big bowl blank. It was green. I just roughed it out, and I think I did live on Facebook. It was all backwards because I was using my cell phone, but I had this. Actually, I had this the other way around. It's a cone center, which is ideal for goblets. If you're doing a goblet, I watched a guy today. Who was it? The Klondike Turner turned a goblet, and he hollowed the goblet out. Then he did the outside, and then he did the stem, and then he went back to do the finishing, Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen. Now you could have finished the cup before you went down the stem, because it would be more solid, but he didn't. He did it all at the end, which is fine, but he had no support on the tailstock on the end. So if he'd have had a cone, even like this, or a tennis ball, you could have held it between centers and it would have been solid. It wouldn't have moved. He did the whole thing freehand with no support on the tail end. Yeah. I mentioned it to him on his video to help him out. He's another Canadian. I'm not sure exactly where he is, and I can't remember the guy's name.
Really nice guy.
Seems like a nice guy. He's renovating a property. Lewis. Yeah. He's renovating a place right now. So that would be the
I remember the name.
But you don't remember anybody from school, Steve?
No, I don't remember fucking names. I'm useless. And Leona sent me a list, and I can't remember where I put it.
So that goes both ways, a bit like you, Steve. So you could put that on a ball, even like a sphere. I suppose you could use that on a sphere as well.
Yeah, I want one.
Anyway, enough about that. I bought that from Lee Valley, I believe. They're not cheap, mate.
I believe it's time for this, Rob.
Go for it, Steve. Fascinating facts.
Yes, fascinating facts. I've got some interesting ones this week. Let's start with teeth. Teeth. Did you know that during your lifetime, Rob, you will spend around 79 days brushing your teeth?
Tell my
As
kids that.
Yeah, as everyone should very well know, by this point it's incredibly important to look after your teeth. The first step towards this is brushing them twice a day for 2 minutes at a time. Now, the average life expectancy in the US, this was from a website that I took for the US, but it's generally around the world, apart from a few, third world countries, is around 79 years of age. 4 minutes for brushing a day over the course of a year is 1,460 minutes, which is just over 1 day of toothbrushing every year. So if you live 79 years and you'll brush your teeth for a total of 79 days, this is, of course, based on the recommended time you should brush your teeth for, which you all
So
do, right?
get it all in now, and you don't have to brush your teeth for the rest of the
Yeah,
year.
Yeah, just brush your teeth for the next 79 days and then don't bother for the rest of your life. Did anyone else see the documentary on the guy who invented those toy teeth? It's great. You should look it up. Oh, I should look that up. I used to have that. Did you used to have them toy teeth, Rob, that go tick, 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 tick?
Oh, I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. I'll
Next
show you
one.
what I have got in my shop.
Oh, go
Before
on
you
then.
move on, I have got one little gizmo in my shop. Now,
Gizmo.
you don't have the shops. You don't have the shop staples in the UK, do you?
Yeah, well, in the UK they do, not here in Ireland, I don't think.
So anyway, I have one of these,
They
and
sell
every time I
staples,
do something that's easy, I get to press the button. That was easy. That was easy. That was easy.
Which isn't very often then.
That was easy. No, I haven't pressed it in years. That's why the batteries are still good.
I used to have a fart button like that. You could just walk around town pushing. Did you know, Rob, that only 5% of the ocean has been explored?
That
The
doesn't surprise me.
ocean covers 70% of the Earth's surface and is understandably much harder to explore than land. As much as 20% of the ocean floor has now been mapped thanks to advancement in sonar technologies. Speaking of technology, one reason we have explored so little of the ocean is that we only developed the technology for doing so within the last 100 years. So 5% we know of the ocean. So there could be like people living under the sea and everything, Rob. Like Aquaman.
Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr, yeah, could be. Elvis could have moved to the bottom of the ocean. Do you like shopping, Rob?
Depends what kind of shopping.
Do you like going shopping with your wife, Rob?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Did you know that the average male gets bored of a shopping trip after 26 minutes? I do.
I didn't even get in the store.
I'm bored before I even sit into the car to go shopping. On top of this, it's been found that 8 in 10 men hate shopping with their partner. Meanwhile, women don't get tired of shopping until around 2 hours have passed. Interestingly, it was also found that men who are promised some sort of treat at the end of a joint shopping trip were more likely to at least pretend to enjoy shopping with their partner. So next time you see a couple at a retail store with a bored-looking boyfriend, you know they've been out for more than half an hour.
And he's not getting any afterwards either.
What? Shopping?
After shopping.
Yeah, I would spend hours walking around tool shops. Leona's just put that she hates shopping unless she's shopping online for tools. I despise.
Debbie hates shopping.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
We have a store here called Canadian Tire,
That's a cool shop.
Home Depot, Lowe's, Lee Valley. I've never been to the store William Woodwright. I don't even know if they have a store, but William Woodwright, if they have a shop, I want to go there because I love that place. I buy stuff from them all the time. But yeah, man stores, right? Not even, because they're tools and gadgets and gizmos.
Just anything that isn't groceries. I will go into any shop that isn't groceries, to be honest with you. It's just grocery. I'm like a teenage boy going through puberty when I walk into a grocery store. I'm like, oh, do I have to?
That's a horrible thought.
I don't want to do it. I want to go shopping. Ian gets chocolate from his wife when he goes shopping. This is like turning up to the pub for a night out sober when everyone else has been out drinking all day. Yes, good.
Well, have a drink on us.
Rob, saliva.
What?
Saliva. Did you know during your lifetime you will produce enough saliva to fill 50 bathtubs? The average person produces just over an ounce, 30 milliliters of saliva every hour. This might not seem like much, but it adds up over time. To give you a better idea, that's 24.3 ounces, 720 milliliters, or one full wine bottle worth of saliva a day, which is an average of 69 gallons, 263 liters per year. The average global life expectancy is, as we said, is around 72, 79, which means that you produce an average of 4,968 gallons, 18,936 liters of saliva in your lifetime. That's enough to fill 50 bathtubs. That's a lot of spit.
Sorry, I fell off asleep there a minute.
I noticed. I know. Bees, Rob. You like bees?
I do like bees.
Bees. Here's a true story for you.
Not wasps.
A swarm of 20,000 bees followed a car for 2 days because their queen was stuck inside it. A 68-year-old grandmother got quite the surprise on her return from a visit to a nature reserve. It seems that somehow a queen bee was curious and got trapped in her car. On her way home, she parked her car to go shopping, only to return to the car covered in bees. The bees were safely removed from the car and the lovely lady made her way home. Much to her surprise, the bees were back the next day. It seems that the queen bee was still inside and the bees followed her the whole way home. This time they were all removed and they fortunately didn't return.
Isn't that great? I like bee movies. Not the Bee Movie, but there's a movie from the 70s with Michael Caine called The Swarm. And
yes,
I like that movie. I don't remember that. They end up driving a beetle with the swarm on the beetle. They drive the beetle into an ice rink, and that's how they get rid of them. But then the end credits, there's one bee sitting on the chair back in the balconies looking down. That was how they ended that movie.
And our last fascinating fact is more kind of music history. I thought I'd throw this in. Just one last bit. On this day in music history, okay, 1984, on this day, Frankie Goes to Hollywood were at #1 on the UK singles chart for the 3rd week with Relax. Don't do it. Pick your nose and chew it. And also in 1984, the Eurythmics had the UK #1 album on this day called Touch. And on this day in 1993, Michael Jackson, on a special edition of the Oprah Winfrey Show, gave his first TV interview for 14 years, live from his Neverland Valley ranch. And
remember that.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you remember that? I don't. I
do remember that. I think it was mostly in over this side of the water, because he had a couple of those big golden Oscars from the Oscar Awards on his. He had so much stuff. That guy. He had a stage, like I don't know. It was like a theater, and it was on the stage in the theater.
Some would say a little bit cuckoo. I would say legend. 2004, Diana Ross was sentenced to 2 days in jail after pleading no contest to a drink driving charge. She was allowed to enter her plea over the telephone from New York. She basically got away with that, like most stars do. So that's this week's interesting facts.
Oh, it was fascinating facts.
Well, interesting, fascinating. They're interesting, fascinating, and pain in the ass to find. But I do it for you, Rob. Not for anybody in the chat. I do it for you.
I'm not doing it.
Because I know you enjoy them so much by the way you yawn every week.
They're wonderful.
Everyone, yes, lockdown does need to bugger off. I do agree with that.
Yes, absolutely. It felt good driving out today. I went out. I picked some stuff up from Lee Valley. Actually, I making a boom for my camera so that
show us your boom, Rob.
Trip over. Do you want to see my boom?
Is the camera on the boom? That's why I said it.
No, the camera's not on the boom yet.
Oh,
Hang
okay. Hold on, I'll put you on full screen so you can show off your boom. Boom.
So it rotates.
Heavy duty.
And actually this side, that's what locks them in. I put them on the wrong side though. I should have put them on the side that
that's your hand.
I did that to I didn't make you feel bad.
You don't want to show off the mess of your shop, did you? That's why you covered the camera.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mess.
I knew.
That's why I've got this here.
They only said, "Oh my, what a big and strong boom, Rob."
I'll let you use it if you come over, Leona. You can play with my boom.
Let me see. Rubber Dub, yet again, no honey badger facts. Is this why I pay my TV license for? I'll get some honey badger facts for you for next week. I promise.
Honey badger don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, right. What do you want to do next? Should we do Rob and Steve looking back? What are we going to talk about? Oh, wrong one.
I don't know. Oh, is this a section?
This is the section. Look at that, spinning backwards. Isn't that clever? It took me ages to video that clock. It took like hours.
Brilliant.
And then I had to speed it up. What are we going to talk
there's an
about?
offer a girl can't refuse. My boom is like this. Anyway.
It's a wobbly boom. It's an age thing.
It's got knuckles.
Some would enjoy knuckles. Speaking of knuckles, where's Heath? I haven't seen him for bloody years. I must message him, see how he is. I know he had a few issues. I'm going to write that down. You talk about old Rob and Steve. Pick a story while I write that down.
Rob and Steve. The first thing that comes to mind. What? I can't think. What do you want to talk about, Steve?
There,
put me on the
I've
spot
made that
here.
note. Well, I like putting you on the spot.
Pub crawls.
Drinking sessions. Pub
crawls.
That's just weird.
Rob Clough's Cavalier. Rob Clough's Cavalier. Do you remember? You know what I'm thinking, don't you?
I think I do. I'm not sure though, and I'm not going to mention it just in case it's not the story that I'm thinking.
Okay, I don't know what else there
My
would be, but
my stories get mixed up, and I could put two stories into one, but the one I thought of, I don't want to mention it. So
I don't know what that is.
go
So
on,
anyway,
fire
Rob
ahead.
Clough he's one of my mates. You and him were not as friends, were you? Not so much.
Well, I never went to his school. He never went to mine. So he was a friend of yours, and
Well, he went to Summaries
yeah, Summaries, but that didn't count because we
Junior. No.
we had our
Well, we
own
didn't
kind
go
of
to the same
friends.
school either.
Yeah,
We
I
didn't go to
know.
the same school then either.
No, but
Anyway,
what we're saying is
that's not the story. That's not the story. Griff Reef Jones and Mel Smith. Anyway, sitting at the pub. So, anyway, let's get to the story, shall we? My mate Rob Clough had just bought himself another car. So, my mate can't see you. My mate Rob Clough has just bought himself a newer car. Well, it was an old car. It was a Cavalier. Are you still facing sideways? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm done with that. That's silly.
No, Debbie. She's had enough. She's off.
Everyone's leaving. She's had enough of that. So he bought himself a new car. It was a Cavalier, and we were all at the pub drinking, and he was the key holder. And I don't know what happened, but we were not in the car, and he was driving away. So we ended up surfing on top of the car. We were on top of his car. Do you remember that?
Did. That's right. I just remember that. That wasn't the story I thought it was.
We dented the crap out of it too.
But tell the kind folks what Rob's job was.
Well, he was a banker at the time.
He was a banker.
He might have been into his new job.
Be?
Well, he's now a cop. But here's another one. Here's a kicker for you, Steve. Because he's a cop, he's actually now retired.
I know, you told me that. Retired at 50 with a full pension.
I hate him. So now he's actually, I don't hate him, he's my mate. He's now doing part-time work as a private investigator. Now, how cool is that?
That is cool. It's well paid too.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, and his kids are still a bit younger.
And he gets to go home at night and then sit in his chair and then annoy his wife by just going, I got in to the office at 8. There was a cool woman and she came in and she sat there. She was buxom but kind. He probably goes through his whole day like that. It just explains the whole every job that he's doing.
He wears a long trench coat, a trilby hat, and smokes a cigarette, and he's got a shot of whiskey in his hand.
And calls everyone slick.
Maybe that. Hey, slick.
See. Yes.
I got this here information. See.
I can't remember what the result of that was. Did he forgive us? That was probably my idea, was it? To get on his car and surf? I don't know. Why did we do it?
Why wouldn't he let us in? Because he wouldn't let us in his car because we upset him over something.
I think we were probably too far intoxicated, maybe.
Yeah,
Columbus.
I think so. Columbus, yeah.
All right, so we've got 15 minutes left. Now,
is that it?
No, yeah, we've got 15 minutes left, but we've got to do Robbie, haven't we? Robbie recorded this for us.
Have you got Robbie? Go on then, do Robbie.
Robbie recorded for us this week, so let's do this. What you got, Robbie? So again, I'm still trying to work out the whole sound situation with OBS. I am struggling. I'm going to have to probably talk to Nick or somebody that knows OBS to work out how I can play sound through OBS. I am struggling with that. To get it to work through StreamYard. I don't really want to. I'm probably going to have to stream directly to YouTube through OBS, which is pain in the ass with stream keys and such. But anyway, let's get Robbie's recordings up here. Robbie is going, for those of you that are new to this, Robbie is my 8-year-old son. I get him to describe a particular tool or item each week, and you've got to guess what it is before we get to, there's 10 short recordings on this one, number 10 being him telling us exactly what it is. Okay, so let's go with number 1. Here we go.
It's made of plastic, metal, and wires.
Here you go. It's made of plastic, metal, and wires. So you can throw your guesses out there, and I'll stop it on the chat then with the first person that gets it. Okay. So it's made of plastic, metal, and wires. This is number 2.
It plugs into your computer.
It plugs into your computer, Rob, no less.
Well, we had headphones already, didn't we?
Yeah, we had headphones. I don't think I'm ever going to get Robbie to describe one of those, Rubber Dub. Not if I want to keep him as my son and not be reported to the authorities. A skew. A laptop, Ian says. No. 3D printer. No, Nick. A radio. No. R2D2. No, none of those. Not a headphone. No. Okay, so
Ian
number
must
3.
have it. Has Ian got it?
A webcam. No, it's not a webcam.
That would have been my guess.
I'm not allowed to touch it.
Oh, maybe Rubber Dub was right.
I'm not allowed to touch it.
Now remember, Robbie says all this. I don't tell him what to say, so Robbie describes all this himself. So yeah, he's not allowed to touch it. An external hard drive. No, it's not a speaker either. All right, let's go with number 4.
I've got an idea what it is. Will he get fingerprints on it if he touches it?
There you go.
Things move inside.
Things move inside. A keyboard, a mouse. No, we've not got a winner yet. Let's go with number 5.
It's got a little table.
It's got a little table. A little.
It's got a little
It's got
table.
a little. It's that little English twang coming out. I like that in my kids. You get that little bit of English every now and then, even though they're born and bred Ireland.
From Luton. You don't say his T's.
It's got a little table. I forget which number that was, but we'll go with this.
You can put wood, paper, and plastic in it.
I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
We do have a winner in the chat there.
Yeah. It's got to be MB.
Right, let's go with let's finish them off anyway.
It smokes and makes smells.
Smokes and makes smells.
It draws really cool pictures.
It draws really cool pictures.
He's talking about you, Steve.
It burns things.
It burns things. And then this is Robbie telling us what it is.
You set light to your modem. It's you.
It's a freaking laser.
What did he say?
He said
freaking laser.
It's a freaking laser.
Well done, Robbie. Thank you very much. There you go. So I think the first person to get that was Tracy, Mama Bear.
Tracy, Mama Bear.
I believe Sarah did say printer, but she didn't say laser printer. So I think so. Tracy, you win the huge prize of nothing. Just knowing that you won. What you got, Robbie?
And you understand
Yes. He's so funny, Tracy said. Yeah, it's a freaking laser. Yeah,
He just needs a
baby.
shark. He just needs a shark now to put it on.
He is my mini-me. So yes, that's pretty much all we don't have any news. The only news that I suppose we can remind people of is what is Daniel's Chan. Oh no, I haven't got the pictures there anymore. But Daniel's Double D has still got his February challenge going on, which is flowers. I'll change back to the screen, which is flowers. So if you want to make a flower of any kind, doesn't have to be turned. Just make a flower. Take pictures in series if you don't want to do video, and that's because it's.
Is that all of February?
The whole of February, yeah, and I think you've just got to have your videos up by the end of February, I think. Yes, if you want more information on that, then you can go back to last week's show where I've got the information in the show notes for that. Record Power have got a couple of lives coming up, I think, on YouTube. Pat Carroll has his interview with a turner, I believe. You can get all these on the relevant websites, Pat Carroll's website. Rob, you've got there's a show going on tonight and tomorrow, is there?
Yeah, tonight and tomorrow. It's the Wood Show. I don't know if you have a link to it. It is a paid event. I think you have to. It's $4 or $5. It's not much. Tomorrow night I'm live between 7:45 and 8:45. I'm doing finishing techniques on turned items. It's kind of taken place of the wood shows that we normally have here in Ontario. It's just bringing people together, even though we can't really get together. So it's kind of neat to watch different people doing different things. It's tonight they've got a guy, I think, on bandsaws. I think it's Ethan from, I can't remember where he's from. Ethan's a good guy. I've met him at the wood show several times. He does bandsaws, jigs and things on bandsaws. So that's pretty cool. So
okay, cool.
I'll probably be heading over there soon.
Best thing I ever saw, best demonstration I've seen so far, anyway, live demonstration, was that I literally only got a few minutes break from Maker Central last time I was there, and Jimmy DeResta was doing a demonstration on the bandsaw. And he literally just got a piece of builder's stock, I think it was. I don't know, it was 6x2 or I forget what it was, but anyway. And he just literally freehand was just cutting and chatting away, turning it, moving it around. And next thing, he just brought up a name that he just freehand cut out with the bandsaw. Like, that's amazing. Crazy, like, he's got crazy skills, that man. But he the way he just described how to do all these things and stuff is just like, you know, don't be scared of the machine. Just get in there, be careful, but use the machine to its best. If
you're using a bandsaw too, make sure your blade is sharp. If your blade's dull, it's more dangerous because you'll tend to want to push. Yeah, if it's dull, you're going to want to have to push a little bit, and then if you hit a soft spot in the wood, it's going to jump forward, and that's when accidents are going to happen. So it's time for me to actually replace my blade. They cost around $20 a blade over here. Mine's 111 inches. But there's places you can get them from. Lee Valley have them, but they're. I'm plugging Lee Valley a little bit tonight. I know Lee Valley. They got a lot of cool stuff. You got to plug people to help them out. Lee Valley, William Woodwright, I use them a lot.
But Lee Valley are all about. From what I got from when I was over there, anyway, Lee Valley are all about helping the turners and being as helpful as they possibly can too. Yeah, they charge for their lessons and stuff like that, but they're a company; they can't do stuff for free, right? But they've got some really friendly, helpful staff, and it's just a really nice shop to go to. You know, it's just really well laid out, and they're kind. And I think Pat Lapp works for Lee Valley too, doesn't he? I believe
Pat Lapp does. He works for Lee Valley. He's the guy that He does videos for Lee Valley too.
Yeah.
So short 3-4 minute videos on turning a bowl or whatever. He's got a super personality. Like it comes across in his videos. He's funny man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but he is a funny guy.
But he is also a qualified and experienced videographer too. He used to be in advertising and all that kind of stuff as well. So he knows his stuff.
He definitely has an advantage when he's doing his YouTube stuff. Definitely.
Leona just put the link for Lee Valley there on in the chat. Thanks,
Leona.
The show needs a bandsaw review segment. Best bandsaw. Hold on. Best bandsaw. I can't get it. Oh, there. Best bandsaw in each price range, etc. We can do that, Rubber Dub. No problem. I can do a bit of research. I might even get in touch with a few companies and see what deals they're doing at the moment and stuff like that. I might do that, and I'll have that for next week. Definitely make a note of that too.
Rubber Dub, where do you live? Are you? Where are you at?
Are you in the US? He lives in a pineapple under the sea.
No, where does he live? He's in the US.
No,
you don't know, Steve?
Yes, he's UK, I believe.
Okay. So what's going to be available to you over there in the UK is going to be different from what's available over here, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Dublin.
Oh, he's in Dublin. He's in Dublin.
Ireland. Jesus. I knew that too.
Dublin.
I fucking know that. This is the stupid shit that I get confused with. You see?
I've been to Dublin.
And now I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself like I'm over there talking to I do this too. I'll be in the workshop and I'll be, Steve, what are you doing? And it's almost as if I'm over there going, I don't know, mate. I'm a bit stupid. Sorry. I just made that mistake because I'm stupid.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I know that. But why do you make these stupid mistakes? Because you know you're stupid. You should cop yourself on and not do it anymore. This is the shit that I go on with. Just bonkers. Bonkers, I tell you.
Runs in the family, Steve.
Yeah, it does. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. Well, he is quite heavy, actually. A lot heavier than he should be. But we won't go there, will we, Rob?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yes, I would definitely do that. And Ian said about the different tools that go with the bandsaw as well. So we'll do.
Well, there's jigs too for the bandsaw, so we can also incorporate it a little bit with that. I have been thinking about that. I've made a couple of jigs myself for my bandsaw, so we can show them. There's Ethan, the guy that I was just talking about, who's tonight on the Wood Show. He has a few jigs for the bandsaw that he shows. They're store-bought ones, but they're expensive. So if you can somehow build your own, it's definitely going to save you some money. So we can certainly talk about those.
You should never use your own words against yourself, Brian said. Well,
who?
Yes.
Who?
Brian,
you?
Yeah. Brian, yeah. Brian said I shouldn't use bad words against myself.
Next time, talk yourself up a little bit to yourself.
Okay. We all talk and have full-in conversation with ourselves. We do. I do. Even working on the car today. Let me tell you, cars aren't the same as they used to be, Rob.
No, I know.
I remember the days of getting in underneath my Ford Cortina, pulling the wheel off, click, pop, bang, wallop, bish, bash, bosh, brakes changed in 15 minutes, ba-jump, off you go, wheel spinning around the streets again. No. Try changing the rear brakes and brake cylinders, discs on my Audi today, and or Aldi, as some people call it, and oh my God, what a pain in the arse.
What's going on?
That's Chad. That's our mate Chad.
Chad.
Who are these wangers? Hi Chad, long time no speaks. How are you?
I thought he was gone.
No, I haven't spoken to Mancrafting. I tell you, Mancrafting, he makes some wicked. Speaking of Yetis,
some mugs, right?
Yeah, he must have heard you talking about Yetis. Yeah. He makes some really awesome Mancrafting mugs. Very cool. I've got one. Temple Boy Turnings one. He'll laser.
I never got one.
freaking. Oh, it's because you didn't pay him enough.
No, didn't pay him anything.
Yeah, so Mancraft
on my Facebook and website.
He's a blast from the
That's what-
past. I haven't
yeah.
spoken to Chad for a long time. I felt I kind of lost touch with a lot of guys back that I used to be. Chad's a really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. Miss you, man. Have to get back in touch with you. Going good, Chad. Yeah, we're doing this now every Wednesday evening. So pop in and say hi. But it's good to see you. Really is.
Where is Chad based?
He's in the States. He's in
Okay.
the States. Yeah.
Whereabouts in the States? States is a big place.
Well, I don't know. I don't know everybody's address, funny enough, Rob.
I'm asking him.
Yeah, you do, Steve. No, I don't, Steve. I don't know everybody's address. Yeah, you do. Okay, maybe I do. There you go. I'm trying. Mancrafting. Yes. See, look, everyone loves Chad. Steve, that's called a staff meeting talking to yourself.
I have a black Yeti mug, but it's not laser etched or anything.
No. Get in touch with Chad and ask him to make you one. And basically, what happens?
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is you call him. He asks you what design you want. You send him. Forget it. You'll have to send him a design. No, you'll have to send him a design. And the way technology is with you, you'll end up sending him a Smurf or something.
I actually I can't think what they're called, but I've got one. I don't know what it is. It's an image that's really, really high quality, whatever it is.
That's actually an interesting question that Chad asked. Wait, what does wanker mean? And I know it's a swear word.
I've got a story.
I know it's a swear word. But in Canada or America, aren't wankers bikers?
That's not exactly. Wankers are long-haired rockers, dudes, right?
Oh, okay.
So here's a quick story. Back in '97, I'm an electrician and I was working in a school. The kids were all out and I'm in the school, and there's flyers on the table and on the walls. And I look at these flyers. I'm like, what the hell is that? Wankfest '97. They have a festival for wanking? What is this all about? We never had one.
Well, we kind of did. But we won't go there.
Yeah. But anyway, my brother, I took a couple of them because there were two different styles, and I grabbed a couple, and my brother was building a bar in his basement. And to this day, that poster is framed and up on his wall. Wankfest '97. Brilliant.
Yeah, my first introduction to it was you took me to a wanker bar, and it literally said wanker bar on the sign above it. I was like, this is going to be an awkward drink with Rob. So yeah. So that's it. That's pretty much it. We're 4 minutes over, so we best close the show down. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Steve. I'll close the show down. Thanks everybody. We've got a few ideas to add up, to look up and get some information for you for next week. I will discuss it with Rob probably an hour before the show starts, and we'll sort that out for you. And yeah, I'll look up that information for you. Maybe get in touch with a couple of companies that supply bandsaws in the UK, Ireland, Canada, the States, maybe, and we'll work that.
Rubber Dub says the soggy biscuit
sessions.
Do you know what, Steve? Do you know what that is?
No.
A soggy biscuit. I want to know. Oh, Rubber Dub, you explain what a soggy biscuit contest is.
Please don't ask him to. Please don't ask him to
come on, Rubber Dub, do it.
You don't know him. It's god. Look at Rob. He's all willing to stay on and keep going. He's getting used to this old live feed crack now. Look, he's getting excited.
Well, I'm going to be live tomorrow at 7:45 for an hour, and it's weird because I don't know how much time it's going to fill what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I've got a few different simple techniques of finishing things, and it's always concerned me about actually turning live. Generally speaking, I don't get catches.
We're not
every
back
wood
talking
turns
about
different.
the discussion before where you're talking about finishing, no?
We're talking about Rubber Dub Soggy Biscuit.
It's a story for
He
next
gets
week.
to-
All right. Yeah. We'll leave that as a cliffhanger, Rob. We'll
Yeah.
talk about soggy biscuits next week.
Rubber Dub wood. I'm not eating the biscuit. I'm just saying that. No, sir. I'm not
Right.
even going to be involved in that.
Right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been brilliant. We had a few more in this evening, which is brilliant. We're starting to get known and a regular show.
No,
People
that
coming
was
in
me.
and getting to know us. So
That was me. Just
thanks
bringing
very
the numbers
much.
up.
Rob, say goodbye.
Goodbye from me. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
What? We're not the two Ronnies.
And him over there. Right, Steve? Yes, Steve. Right. See you guys. Thank you very much for joining. We shall see you again, same time, same place next week. I will set up the Facebook page. Look out for the new Rob and Steve show Facebook page where we can do updates and you can throw a few ideas and things to us and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Thanks very much.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. See you later. Bye.
See ya.